Good day, it is a pleasure to be here speaking in front of you. I am Danica Javier and I will be your reporter for today. The topic of my discussion will be all about Lesson 1, the context for training and development. This lesson is divided into two parts, which are the introduction to employee training and development and the strategic training. The first part discusses the importance of training and development and its pivotal role in the success of companies in today's business setting. On the other hand, the second part will focus on the strategic training and its development process. Before we start our lesson, I would like to ask a question. Why are we taking up this course? Why do you want to become a future HR professional? We may have different sets of reasons for choosing this field, but in the end, we must share the same idea. As a human resource management student, it is vital for us to understand how essential an HR practitioner is in the working environment. Apart from our skills, we should also take note about the importance of possessing the right attitude and behavior in the workplace. So now, what does HR actually do? People often define the HR department as the intermediary between employees and the company. The HR department is described as the one who bridges the gap between the employee's performance and the organization's strategic objectives. With this, as future HR professionals, we should be able to communicate effectively with all of our employees. Another goal is to increase not just the profit, but also the employee productivity. If we will look closely, we can see that these two things are related. A productive workforce is one of a company's most valuable assets. We can expect an improvement in earnings if we can make our workers efficient, motivated, and more productive. However, the question will rely on how to make them productive. What are the opportunities we can provide for them to achieve growth and develop their full potential? In our current situation, companies are working hard to develop workers who are adaptable to change. It is true that no one can expect what can happen tomorrow. Thus, the best thing a company can do is to hire employees who are prepared to work in unpredictable situations and changes. Even so, we must keep in mind that there is no such thing as a perfect employee. Employees, on the other hand, can improve their skills by participating in training and development programs. Even the greatest employee needs to engage in these trainings because it will help them in updating and enhancing their skills. Because in actuality, we do not aim to have the perfect employees but rather keep the promising ones who works hard in fulfilling and delivering excellent results in their tasks. As a part of the HR department, we should be among the first to promote the spirit of teamwork and collaboration in the workplace. We can do this by making our employees feel valued and appreciated at all times. Okay, now let us go back to our topic, which is the introduction to training and development. In our lesson, we will be emphasizing the role of competitiveness in companies, and after that, we will tackle how human resource management works. To begin with, competition refers to a company's ability to maintain and gain market share in an industry. As we all know, the word competitiveness is derived from the word compete, which means to strive for the same thing or goal. Companies may vary from one another. They may have different techniques, strengths, and weaknesses, but one thing they all have in common is the training practices they use that help them in gaining a competitive advantage in their markets. However, competition in the business world is not the same as a marathon. It is not similar in the way that these companies do not need to completely beat and outperform all of their rivals. The important thing is for them to be able to succeed and survive in the competition. This will be possible with the help of our employees. By engaging in training, they will be able to develop not only their skills and knowledge, but also their willingness to help the organization succeed. But we should always aim for a healthy competition. Let us treat this competition as a stepping stone for us to explore new things and let it contribute to our employees and company's growth. Innovation should be born out of competitiveness. Companies should view it as a driving factor that will fuel their determination to work harder and develop. Okay, Moving on to our next new topic, we have the human resource management. Human resource management refers to the policies, practices, and systems that influence employees' behavior, attitudes, and performance. It is also defined as the practice of managing people in order to achieve better performance. I agree that a good human resource management is essential for businesses of all sizes. This department is responsible for a variety of tasks. Traditionally, the HR department is known for recruiting and selecting people. In terms of hiring, we should not only look for the best applicant but must seek for someone who is fit for the company's culture and objectives. The human resource management practices also consist of designing work, compensating employees, and developing good labor and employee relations. Okay, now let us discuss our next topic, which is training and development, key components of learning. As mentioned a while ago, we will be focusing on the understanding of the training and development in today's organization. The figure shown represents the role of training and development in businesses. Training and development have a main goal, and this is to learn or acquire learning. Training can be used as a tool in developing the employee's effectiveness and efficiency. Okay. But it is important to take note that this learning should not only focus on the employee's development, but should also cover and contribute to the company's competitive advantage, especially in the formulation of new business strategies. Okay, this is the definition of learning and human capital. So learning refers to employees acquiring knowledge, skills, competencies, attitudes, or behaviors. It is pointed out from a company's perspective that the employee's learning can also play a vital role in the development of intangible assets such as human capital. Compared to the physical capital and financial capital, the human capital is regarded as more valuable because it is difficult to imitate and it is not just purchased easily. It is composed of the knowledge know what, advanced skills know how, system understanding and creativity know why, and motivation to deliver high-quality products and services care-wise. This is related to our topic training and development because in the labor industry, employers can strengthen their human capital through investing in training, education, and benefits for their employees. This should be valued because it has the potential to significantly increase efficiency while also increasing company profitability. Now let us discuss training and development one by one. We have first is training, which refers to a planned effort by a company to facilitate learning of job-related competencies, knowledge, skills, and behaviors by employees. Okay, let us also take a look at the definition of other management scholars in the term training. Okay, according to Edwin Wheatley, the author of the book Principles of Personnel Management, training refers to the act of increasing the knowledge and skill of an employee for doing a particular job. On the other hand, Dale S. Beach, author of the book Personnel, The Management of People at Work, explained training as an organized procedure by which people learn knowledge and improve skill for a definite purpose. Both authors agreed that training is essential in developing and enhancing employees' skills in order to attain progress and growth. We all know that the industry is quickly evolving, which is why there is an important need for training. If the HR department bridges the gap between the employee's performance and the organization's strategic objectives, training, on the other hand, bridges the gap between what the employee has and what the job demands. It shapes the potential of the employee and equips them with the current skills and competencies they need in performing their tasks. Training also requires an investment of money, time, and effort. That is why an organization must be careful and precise in terms of designing a training program. The company's objectives and needs should also be aligned with the program. Next, we will learn all about development. Under development, we have formal learning, informal learning, and formal learning and development. Okay, first, what is development? Development refers to training as well as formal education, job experiences, the relationship and assessment of personality, skills, and abilities that help employees prepare for future jobs or positions. Development is related to training but differs in perspective because it is more future focused. When we are determined to do well in our training, then we will attain development. It is also considered as one of the significant factors when it comes to employee retention. We also have the formal training and development that refers to the training and development programs, courses, and events that are developed and organized by the company. It is described as a valued and reliable source of learning. Most of the time, employees are required to participate in this program. These kind of learning programs are structured and consist of a well-developed system of teaching content. On the other hand, we also have the informal learning. Informal learning refers to learning that is learner-initiated, involves action and doing, is motivated by an intent to develop, and does not occur in a formal learning setting. It is also vital in the facilitation of the development of human capital. Most of the time, this occurs naturally. Learning from one's work experience is one of its prominent forms. It may refer to informal discussions and meetings. Okay, so which of the two is better? For me, these two learning methods may be different, but I believe both are extremely important in training and development. It will only depend on what fits the organization needs. A company can create a formal learning program and then provide informal learning opportunities to its employees, paving the way for further learning opportunities. But the bottom line is that learning should be a top priority for companies and they must invest in it. As we all know, knowledge serves as a foundation and important pillar to organizations. It can also be a great source of competitive advantage. Thus, it is important for us to have knowledge between the two kinds of knowledge related to informal learning, which are the explicit and the tacit knowledge. Okay. First, the explicit knowledge refers to knowledge that is well documented, easily articulated, and easily transferred from person to person. Explicit knowledge deals with the knowledge that are mostly written down or structured. It is more formal and easily shared. Examples of these are the company's data sheets, research reports, and policies. Secondly, we have what is known as tacit knowledge. This kind of knowledge is personally possessed and mostly shared and conveyed through training and experiences. It refers to personal knowledge based on individual experiences that is difficult to codify. Best examples of this are leadership and being a good salesperson. These two are difficult to teach because it mainly comes from a personal experiences. There are no specific number of trainings and programs that can instantly mold you in becoming a good leader and salesperson. It takes time, effort, commitment, and determination. With this, we can say that the tacit informal learning is really central to the development of tacit knowledge. It requires interactions, collaborations, communication, and personal relationships between employees. Now, going back to informal training, if a company wants to establish employees with good tacit knowledge, then they must invest in informal training. Now, let us differentiate these two. If we talk about explicit knowledge, this is documented and can be found in books. Therefore, it can be easily transferred to others, which makes it easy to be captured. Tacit knowledge, on the other hand, primarily relies on a person's personal knowledge and requires experiences. That is why it is oftentimes challenging to teach and be conveyed. Okay, now let us move on with the knowledge management. Knowledge management refers to the process of enhancing company performance by designing and implementing tools, processes, systems, structures, and cultures to improve the creation, sharing, and use of knowledge. Knowledge management contributes to informal learning. Okay, tacit and explicit knowledge are also associated with knowledge management. This has the purpose of improving the organization's efficiency, most especially its decision-making abilities. By means of introducing and implementing training programs, organizations can increase their understanding of knowledge management systems. Training and development comes hand in hand. Just what like Chef Hyken once said, training indeed is helpful in teaching the vision and mission, But in order for it to have meaning, the employees must put the training into action. An organization should not only remain as an organization, but rather a learning organization that is committed and dedicated into learning and growing. Okay, now let us move on to the designing effective training. It is composed of 7 steps or processes. The training design process refers to a systematic approach for developing training programs. Now let us proceed with the 7 steps included in the training design process. The first step is needs assessment, which is necessarily to identify whether training is needed. The first step focuses on determining the training needs. Since there are several training methods, an organization must be able to determine what kind of training is needed. But before that, we must first determine whether or not training is needed. After that, the organization must ensure that its employees possess the attitudes, motivation, and basic skills needed in mastering the training content. It is vital for the employees to have a thorough understanding of the main objectives of the training. Next, the organization must create a learning environment that consists of all of the features needed for learning to take place. This would be both helpful to the organization and employees. The fourth step now will be about ensuring that the trainees will be able to apply their learning or training content to their jobs. This is the main goal of the training program. In this step, the support of the organization is highly needed for the employees to be more determined and motivated. In the fifth step, the organization will develop an evaluation plan. This will include identifying what types of outcomes are expected in the training and whether it will focus more on learning, behavior, or skills. It is best to create an evaluation plan at the same time as the training is developed. By doing this, the organization will be able to identify the necessary resources and foresee any potential barriers that will arise during the process. In the second to the last step, the organization will choose which training method is to be used based on the learning objectives and learning environment. This will be a crucial step since there are a lot of methods, and we need to select which of these methods is the most appropriate for achieving the learning goals. Lastly, it is important to have an evaluation regarding the training. It will include employee feedback, employee assessment, and program assessment. This is done to see if the training is indeed helpful and effective, or if it needs to be improved further in order to completely achieve the desired learning objectives. Going back to the figure shown earlier, this is the figure. This is an example of representation based on the principles of instructional system design. This is the one that we have in our module, which is more detailed. So what is instructional system design or ISD? Instructional system design or ISD refers to a process for designing and developing training programs. The training design process is also sometimes referred to as ADDIE model for the reason that it includes analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. It is also important to take note that there is not one universally accepted instructional system development model. In this figure, the first 2 steps are related to analysis, while the next 3 steps are what we refer to as design issues. On the other hand, the last step is related to evaluation. But despite of that, they still share several assumptions, which are the following. The first one is training design is effective only if it helps employees reach instructional or training goals and objectives. Next, measurable learning objectives should be identified before the training program begins. Lastly, evaluation plays an important part in planning and choosing a training method, monitoring the training program, and suggesting changes to the training design process. Now we will talk about how overcoming the flaws of the ISD model is. Like other models, some training professionals also argue that the ISD model is flawed in various ways. So here are some of its weaknesses that is being pointed out. First, in organizations, the training design process really follows the neat, orderly, step-by-step approach of activity. Second, in trying to standardize their own ISD method used in the training function, Some organizations require trainers to provide detailed documents of each activity found in the model. Third, the ISD implies an endpoint, evaluation. However, good instructional design requires an iterative process of design, execution, evaluation, and reconsideration of the needs that the program was designed to meet, as well as the learning environment, the transfer of training, and all the other activities in the ISD process. Lastly, many companies claim to use an instructional design approach but dilute its application. In these four weaknesses, I want to emphasize and further explain the fourth one, which pertains to how companies claim to use an instructional design approach but in the end dilute or minimize its application. If we use this, we should be able to properly manage and apply it in the organization. Apart from training, the organization should be also able to recognize other causes of performance gaps, with the balance of emphasis on training methods and of course the working environment. Lastly, its impact should always be taken into account and as much as possible should rely on the positive side. What exactly is this positive aspect? This would have something to do with the effectiveness of the training. But amidst all of these critics and debates about the usage of the ISD process, we cannot deny that this process is one of the best and proven models used in ensuring the effectiveness of training and development. Now we are down to our last topic, which is about the forces influencing working and learning. Okay, we have 9. The first one is the economic cycles, followed by globalization, and then increased value placed on intangible assets and human capital. Okay, the fourth one is focus on link to business strategy, followed by changing demographics and the diversity of the workforce and knowledge management. The last two would be the customer service and quality emphasis. The eighth one is the new technology, and the last one is the high performance work system. So we will be asking how these forces are related to training. In actuality, training plays a vital role in this process. It is a must for companies to be able to address and have a better understanding with regards to this because it will be one of their means of achieving a competitive edge in the industry. These forces affect not only businesses, but also individuals, communities, and the society in which we live. Okay, the first one is the economic cycle. It is important to recognize that regardless of the current economic cycle, training has been shown to positively contribute to the company's performance. This represents the relation between economic cycles and training. Even in our current economic cycle, training still plays an important role, especially in terms of company efficiency. An example of this would be the pandemic we are currently experiencing. We are aware of its impact, especially on companies. As a result, companies have been more strict and evaluative in terms of staffing and training. In spite of these challenging times, companies are also able to express a variety of approaches in conducting effective training for their employees. But amidst the current economic growth of our country, even before the pandemic, the issue of the increase in employees' wages has remained unresolved. This, in my opinion, needs urgent action from our government. Now moving on, globalization. Globalization, every business must be prepared to deal with the global economy. Global business expansion has been made easier by technology. The internet allows data and information to be instantly accessible and sent around the world. The internet, email, and video conferencing enable business deals to be completed between companies thousands of miles apart. Now moving on, globalization can also influence companies in various ways. It is true that technology plays a really helpful part in global business expansion. It is also helpful because it speeds up the movement and operation. However, we should keep in mind that a company operating in a global setting will face numerous challenges. Many factors must be taken into account, including economic, cultural, and environmental factors. Due to the increasing competition in the industry, companies are also intensifying their efforts through exploring other ways and resources that will be beneficial to the organization. Most importantly, it creates a lot of opportunities for companies. But it is important to take note that these opportunities should not be detrimental to the society and the environment. Globalization does indeed create a world without borders, but we must remain mindful of our limits and serve as a tool to bring this borderless world together. Okay? Next, the next force is what we know as the increased value placed on intangible assets and human capital. Similar to the first forces I have presented, training and development also play an essential part when it comes to the strengthening and enhancing of a company's competitiveness by means of directly increasing its value through contributing to intangible assets. A company value is composed of three types of assets, namely financial assets that refer to cash and securities. When we say financial assets, this is defined as a liquid asset or easily convertible to cash. Physical assets, on the other hand, pertain to the property, land, and equipment. This can be divided into two types, which are the current and fixed. This kind of asset has a real material presence. Lastly, we have the intangible assets that consist of human capital, customer capital, social capital, and intellectual capital. If we observe the examples given on intangible assets, we will be able to distinguish their similarities, which are literally intangible or cannot be touched. In simple words, it does not have a physical nature, but its value makes it significant in companies. To have a better understanding, I will be providing more examples of intangible assets, which are brand equity, company reputation, trademarks, copyrights, franchises, and patents. When we say human capital, we're talking about the amount of an employee's skills, life experiences, expertise, inventiveness, capacity, and enthusiasm for their work. On the other hand, the intellectual capital is characterized as the value of a company's employee knowledge along with their skills and expertise. It also includes the informational resources of companies. By means of conducting training programs, a company can increase their intellectual capital. Although there is no standard method to measure it, it is an extremely valuable asset. Next, we have the social capital, which is also an important asset in a company. It is defined as the relationships in the company. We all know that building a strong and effective communication and relationship inside the workplace is vital in maintaining a productive and open environment. Social capital can also contribute to a company's success. Lastly, in relationship with social capital, we also have customer capital, which is the value of relationship with its customers and other individuals or organizations outside the company. Customers' brand loyalty is one of the most important assets that businesses must consider in order to thrive and prosper in the industry. To gain a competitive advantage, all of these assets are equally necessary and needed. Let us also take note of these important implications of the intangible asset and human capital value. First is a focus on knowledge workers, and second, employee engagement. Lastly, the third one is an increased emphasis on adapting to change and continuous learning. So now we will move forward with our discussion. When we talk about knowledge workers, we're referring to employees whose primary contribution is based on their knowledge. To be clearer with the definition, I will give you some examples. These workers include physicians, engineers, lawyers, and accountants. Okay, I will give you a brief history background about the knowledge workers. Actually, they were first called as a white-collar workers by Upton Sinclair. The term knowledge worker was first coined by Peter Drucker in his book, The Landmarks of Tomorrow, which was published in 1959. According to him, in the 21st century organization, knowledge workers would be the most valuable asset. Now, when we say employee engagement, this will pertain to the degree to which the employees are committed to the organization's goals and objectives. It is oftentimes referred to as a critical driver of a company's success in today's competitive marketplace. Aside from this, employee engagement also includes attitudes and behavior. Having your employees engaged with their job is very important because if they do, They will also be more driven and committed to the organization, which means that they will be able to accomplish more business goals that will help the company gain a competitive edge and succeed. Next, in the change and continuous learning. Organization must be able to adapt to changes in order to acquire and retain knowledge workers, particularly now that the environment is rapidly changing and new technological advancements are being made. So, the first one that we have is change. Change refers to the adoption of a new idea or behavior by a company. Technological advances, changes in the workforce or government regulations, globalization, and new competitors are among the many factors that require companies to change. Change is inevitable in life, even in work, which is why we must view it on a positive note. Many invention, advancement, and enhancement occur in a company as a result of change, which may lead to more opportunities and possibilities. In light of the changing environment, employees must also embrace the philosophy of learning. Employees should embrace a culture of lifelong learning that enables them to acquire and share knowledge continually. Life is an endless learning. As Steve Jobs said, there is always one more thing to learn. Both the organization and its employees must help one another in learning, sharing, and acquiring new knowledge that will help them in fulfilling their business goals. Today's world is constantly changing at a fast pace. That is why it is vital for an organization to view these changes as an opportunity. These changes must serve as an avenue for growth and development. Next is the focus on links to business strategy. More important role for training and development as a means to support a company's business strategy. Okay, like similar to other discussions, this one also highlights the importance of training and development in today's organization. Now, with all of these discussions, we can truly say that the intangible assets along with human capital are both equally important and necessary in an organization, especially when it comes to gaining competitive advantage. Down to my last topic, I will be discussing the changing demographics and diversity of the workforce as well as talent management. Before this, let us first define what is diversity in the workplace. Diversity in the workplace is all about building an open work environment that acknowledges and values the differences of a diverse group of people. Organizations with a diverse workforce will have a more diverse viewpoints from their employees as well as a wider range of expertise and experience. It is vital for an organization to establish diversity in the workplace, especially now that the industry is becoming more global. In order to meet the organization goals and objectives, they will need a diverse workforce. Employees working in an open workforce that embraces differences will be more empowered and dedicated to their jobs because they will feel that they are accepted, appreciated, and valued. With this, we should give emphasis to these two notes. The first one is the increase in ethnic and racial diversity. Apart from addressing issues of race, gender, ethnicity, and nationality, companies must be able to implement training programs that help employees learn the skills they need in their job. Next is the aging workforce. Companies must empower and encourage their older staffs in this area by enabling them to use training modules to expand their expertise and skills. We also have the generational differences. Along with their differences, they have similarities as well as their own strengths that a company should value and leverage in order to gain a competitive advantage. By embracing and welcoming the different generations, an organization can create a more open workplace which can increase the effectiveness and productivities of employees. In this illustration, we can see the different generations in the workforce and their corresponding years and descriptions. On the other hand, these are the set of skills that managers and employees must be trained in order to work effectively with each other. We have 5. The first one is communicating effectively with employees from a wide variety of backgrounds. Next is coaching, training, and developing employees of different ages, educational backgrounds, ethnicities, physical abilities and races. Third, providing performance feedback that is free of values and stereotypes based on gender, ethnicity, or physical handicap. Fourth, training managers to recognize and respond to generational differences. And lastly, creating a work environment that allows employees of all backgrounds to be creative and innovative. Other organizations might view it as a problem, but I would rather view it as a challenge. Alongside the changes and transitions taking place in the world, we should be able to adapt and evolve while creating new opportunities. Lastly, talent management is concerned with a company's systematic, planned, and strategic effort in employing bundles of human resource management practices. Its primary goal is to create a highly motivated and productive workforce that will accompany the organization on its long journey. With the help of this, companies will optimize the value and potential of their employees, which are their most valuable assets. It also strengthens the company's employer branding, which is essential in attaining success. In the last part of my discussion, I will be briefly discussing the retirement of baby boomers. People who are a part of the baby boomer generation are those who were born between 1946 and 1964. They are referred to as baby boomers because during their time, which is after World War II, a boom or surge in births took place. According to US figures, approximately 3.4 million babies were born in 1946, which is the largest number in the country's history. They are also described as an economically influential generation. However, today their generation are encountering conflicts due to their retirement age. They are facing some challenges, especially when it comes to the funds for their retirement. To wrap up our topic, I will give you some facts about the baby boomers. Okay, the first one is, do you know that on December 31, 2029, the last of the boomers will already turn 65 years old? Okay, the two favorite online practices of the baby boomers are searching and sending emails. In reality, 96.1% of people use search and 94.8% uses email. They always look for facts about health and wellness. Okay, another one is who are the four presidents that are a part of the baby boomer generation. The first one is Barack Obama, who is born on August 4, 1961. We also have these three presidents who are born in the same year. First is George W. Bush, born on July 6, 1946. Next is Bill Clinton, born on August 19, 1946. And last is Donald Trump, who is born on June 14, 1946. So all of these four presidents are a proud member of the baby boomer generation. Okay, next. The baby boomers are also able to smoke on planes as well, because smoking was only banned completely in the 1990s. Lastly, because of the generation they grew up in, they are often characterized as confident, independent, and self-reliant. They were raised to believe that the world owes them nothing, so they are unafraid of conflicts and challenges. Before I end my report, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote. Leonardo da Vinci once said that learning never exhausts the mind. Indeed, we should aspire to learn as long as we live, because we survive by learning. Life is a series of training. We can never claim to know anything because there is always something new to discover in every tomorrow. Life should be seen as a journey of learning to know rather than a journey of knowing everything. Everyone has the ability to learn, and we must apply the learning to our personal development and growth in order to become a better version of ourselves. That's all. Thank you so much. I had a really great time with you, and I hope you do as well. Once again, thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye! Next reporter.
Good day everyone, I am Dyanne Tallorin and I would be discussing the second half of Lesson 1, the context for training and development, My topics are customer service and quality emphasis, new technology, and high-performance work system. In continuation of Danica's report, under talent management is skill requirement. With the sudden shift on the occupational structure of the US economy, skill requirements have changed. The demand for specific skills is being replaced by a need for cognitive skills and interpersonal skills. But first, let us define cognitive skills and interpersonal skills. Cognitive skills are mathematical and verbal reasoning ability. On the other hand, interpersonal skills refers to being able to work in teams or to interact with customers. Cognitive and interpersonal skills are important because in the service-oriented economy, employees must take responsibility for the final product or service. Then, innovation. What is the relationship of innovation to skill requirements? Well, with continuous innovation requires the ability to learn. To offer novelty and entertainment value to customers, workers must be creative. That is why many firms use college degrees as a standard to screen prospective employees. Companies also need employees with STEM skills. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Next is developing leadership. The most important talent management challenges companies face are identifying employees with managerial talent and training and developing them for managerial positions. This is attributed to the aging of the workforce, globalization, and the need for managers to contribute to employee engagement. Well, this raises the question, why do companies find it hard to attain great leaders? A recent study by CareerBuilders.com shows that 58% of managers did not receive any management training. Most managers in the workforce were promoted because they were good at what they did and not necessarily good at making the people around them better. This shows that many companies do not have enough employees with the necessary competencies to manage in a global economy due to the lack of leadership training. Because to thrive in a global economy, managers should possess self-awareness and be able to build international teams, create global management and marketing practices, and interact and manage employees from different cultural backgrounds. Managers should also perform the basic management function, that is planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and leading, through good communication skills and helping the employees to develop and work collaboratively with other employees. Then we go to our next topic, customer service and quality emphasis. Customer service. A company's customer judge its quality. Therefore, customer excellence requires attention to product and services features as well as the interaction with customers. But what is customer excellence? Customer excellence. The customer-driven excellence includes understanding what the customer wants, anticipating future needs, reducing defects and errors, meeting specifications, and reducing complaints. How the company recovers from defects and errors is also important for retaining and attracting customers. That's why companies use Total Quality Management or TQM. TQM is a company-wide effort to continuously improve the ways people, machines, and systems accomplish work. Its approach is concentrated on exceeding the customer's expectation, identifying problems, building commitment, and encouraging open decision-making among employees. TQM has its core values. First is methods and processes are designed to meet the needs of internal and external customers. Internal customers participate in your business by actually being part of it. An example is the owners, employees, and board members. External customers are those who see your companies mainly as a provider of something they buy. An example is buyers, consumers, vendors or suppliers, stakeholders, government, and creditor. Next, second value is every employee in the company receives training quality. third, quality is built into product or services so that errors are prevented from occurring rather than being detected or corrected. Next is, the company promotes cooperation with vendors, suppliers, and customers to improve quality and hold down costs. Lastly, managers measure progress with feedback based on data. There is no universal definition of quality. The major differences in its various definitions relate to whether the customer product or manufacturing process is emphasized. Now, let's learn about quality. When companies think of quality, two things come into their mind. One is Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award and ISO 9000-2000. First, let's talk about the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. The Baldrige Award is considered as the highest level of national recognition for quality that a U.S. company can receive. But what makes Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award significant? Well, the Baldrige Award was established by the Congress of the United States to promote an improved quality of goods and services in U.S. companies and organizations. The Baldrige Award is created by the public law and is given annually in 6 categories: manufacturing, service, small business, education, healthcare, and nonprofit. To become eligible for the Baldrige Award, a company must complete a detailed application that consists of basic information about the firm and an in-depth presentation of how it addresses specific criteria related to quality improvement. In the figure 1.5, it shows the categories and points values for the Baldrige Award. For 100 points, leadership, it is how upper management leads the organization and how the organization leads within the community. For 90 points, measurement analysis and knowledge management is how the organization uses data to support key processes and manage performance. For 85 points, strategic planning, how the organization establishes and plans to implement strategic direction. For 85 points is the workforce focus. It is how the organization empowers and involves its workforce. Again, for 85 points is operation focus. It is how the organization designs, manages, and improves key processes. And for 450 points is results. It is how the organization performs in terms of customer satisfaction, finances, human resources, supplier and partner performance, operation, governance, and social responsibility, and how the organization compares to its competitors. And for another 85 points is customer focus. Customer focus refers to how the organization builds and maintains strong, lasting relationships with customers, with a total points of 1,000. All the applicants for the Baldrige Award undergo a rigorous examination process that takes from 300 to 1,000 hours. Applications are reviewed by an independent board of about 400 examiners who come primarily from the private sector. Each applicant receives reporting citing company strengths and opportunities for improvement. If a company receives a Baldrige Award, it only means that they excel at human resource practices, including training and development. Next is, what is ISO 9000-2000? First, let us define what ISO is. The International Organization for Standardization, ISO, is a network of national standards institutes that includes 160 countries and has a governing body in Geneva, Switzerland. It is the world's largest developer and publisher of international standards. ISO is an independent, non-governmental international organization that develops standards to ensure the quality, safety, and efficiency of products, services, and systems. ISO 9000. The ISO 9000 is a family of standards related to quality. ISO 9000, 9001, 9004, and 10011. It addresses what the company must do to meet regulatory requirements and the customer's quality requirements while striving to improve customer satisfaction and continuous improvements. The quality management of the ISO 9000 are based on the 8 quality management principles: customer focus, leadership, people involvement, a process approach, a system approach to management, continuous improvement, using facts to make decisions, and establishing mutually beneficial relationships with supplier. ISO 9000 is a set of international standards on quality management and quality assurance developed to help companies effectively document the quality system. Elements needed to maintain an efficient quality system. They are not specific to any one industry and can be applied to organizations of any size. It is also important to note that individuals cannot be ISO certified. Only businesses and organizations can. ISO 9000-2000 has been adopted as the quality standard in nearly 100 countries around the world, meaning companies should follow these standards to conduct their business in those countries. ISO 9000-2000 have 5 goals. 1 is meet stakeholder needs. 2nd, be usable by all sizes of organization. 3rd, be usable by all sectors. 4th, be simple and clearly understood. Lastly, connect quality management system to business processes. Now let's move on to ISO 9000-2008, the most comprehensive standard. It has been implemented by more than 1 million organizations in 176 countries. The ISO 9000-2008 is the most comprehensive standard because it provides a set of requirements for a quality management system for all organizations, both private and public. Next is ISO 9004. It provides a guide for companies that want to improve. This standard is not to be used for certifying an organization but rather serve as a guide to support the achievement of sustained success by a quality management approach. Now, the question: what is the significance of having ISO certificates? Well, the ISO certificate helps to improve your business credibility and authority, as well as the overall efficiency of the business. When the company has acquired their own ISO certificate, it standardizes the company, meaning it has the ability to consistently provide products and services that meet customer and regulatory requirements. Another question is, why are standards useful? Standards provide people and organizations with a basis for mutual understanding and are used as tools to facilitate communication, measurement, commerce, and manufacturing. Let's put it this way. Customers might want to check the product they ordered from the supplier, checking if it meets the purpose for which it is required. The most efficient way to do this is when the specifications of the product have been defined in an international standard. That way, both supplier and customer are on the same page, even if there are differences in the demographics, because they are using the same references. In relation to competing for quality awards and seeking ISO certification, many companies use Sigma processes. What is Six Sigma process? It refers to the process of measuring, analyzing, improving, and then controlling processes once they have been brought within the narrow Six Sigma quality tolerances or standards. Six Sigma process is a set of methods and tools for business process improvement and quality management. Six Sigma aims to improve quality by finding defects, determining their cause, and improving processes to increase their repeatability and accuracy of process results. Training can help companies meet the quality challenge by teaching employees a concept known as lean thinking. Lean thinking is a way of to do more with less effort, equipment, space, and time, but still provide customers with what they need and want. Part of lean thinking is teaching employees to apply old skills in new ways so they can take over new responsibilities or use new skills to help fill customer orders. Lean thinking means providing a new way of thinking for the employees to serve the customers better. A group within the ISO has drafted a standard for employee training. ISO 10015 is a quality management tool designed to ensure that training is linked to company needs and performance. ISO 10015 has two key features. One is companies have to determine the return on investment of training to company performance. Second, ISO 10015 requires companies to use appropriate design and effective learning processes. The ISO 10015 defines training design as analyzing, planning, doing, and evaluating. Now, let's move on to our next topic, new technology. It is not foreign to us that technology has reshaped the way we play, communicate, plan our lives, and work. Many companies' business models include e-commerce, which allows consumers to purchase products, services online. The internet is a global collection of computer networks that allows users to exchange data and information. What is the influence of new technology in training? Well, advances in sophisticated technology along with reduced cost for the technology are changing the delivery of training, making training more realistic and giving employees the opportunity to choose where and when they will work. With new technologies, it allows training to occur at any time and at any place. Next is flexibility in where and when work is performed. Advances in technology, including more powerful computer chips and increased processing powers of PDAs, notebooks, and iPhones, have the potential for freeing workers from going to a specific location to work and from traditional work schedules. Technology allows companies greater use of alternative work arrangement. Alternative work arrangement refers to work arrangement that includes flexible work schedule, job sharing of one position between several employees, and having a regular work location at a place other than a work site. Alternative work arrangement includes independent contractors, on-call workers, temporary workers, and contract company workers. In Table 1.6 shows the potential uses of social networking for training and developing. For an issue of loss of expert knowledge due to retirement, the use of social networking is knowledge sharing, capturing, and storing. An issue about employee engagement, through social networking, it collects employee opinions, identifying and promote employee expertise, create an online expert communities. Issue about promoting innovation and creativity through social networking, it encourages participation in online discussion. Next is issues about reinforced learning. In social networking, share best practices, application, learning points, links to articles and webinars. Lastly, issue about employee needs coaching and mentoring. Through social networking, they can interact with mentors and coaching peers. Next is high performance of models of work system. New technology causes changes in skills requirements and work roles and often results in redesigned work structures. Through technology, it is made easier for employees to access the needed information to improve customer service and product quality. This means that employees are expected to take more responsibility for satisfying the customer and determining how they perform their jobs. One of the most popular methods is work teams. Work teams involves employees with various skills who interact to assemble a product or provide service. Well, in work teams, may assume many of the activities usually reserved for managers, including selecting new team members, scheduling work, and coordinating activities with customers and other units in the company. To give teams maximum flexibility, cross-training of team members occurs. Cross-training refers to training employees in a wide range of skills so they can fill any of the roles needed to be performed on the team. Uses of new technology and work design such as work teams needs to be supported by specific human resource management practices. These practices include the following actions. First, employees choose or select new employees or team members. Second, employees receive formal performance feedback and are involved in the performance improvement process. Third, ongoing training is emphasized and rewarded. Fourth, rewards and compensation are linked to company performance. Next is equipment and work processes encourage maximum flexibility and interaction between employees. Next, employees participate in planning changes in equipment, layout, and work methods. Lastly, employees understand how their jobs contribute to the finished product or service. Besides changing the way the products are built or services are provided within companies, technology has allowed companies to perform work using virtual teams. Virtual teams refers to the teams with members that are separated by time, geographic distance, culture, and organizational boundaries, and that rely almost exclusively on technology to interact and complete their projects. Roles, competencies, and positions of training professionals. Trainers can typically hold many jobs, such as instructional designer, technical trainer, or needs analysis. Each job has specific roles or functions. And Table 1.10 Training and Development shows the example of the roles that training and development professionals might take in their jobs. First is the learning strategies. Determines how workplace learning can be best used to help meet the company's business strategy. Second, as business partner, uses business and industry knowledge to create training that improves performance. Third, project manager, plans, obtains, and monitors the delivery of learning and performance solutions to support the business. Lastly, professional specialist, designs, develops, delivers, and evaluates learning and performance solutions. Overview. What is ATD competency model? ATD competency model defines the skills and knowledge required for talent development professionals to be successful now and in the future. The model helps talent development practitioners prepare for the future faster by 1 is defining the latest competencies needed for success across the entire TD industry. Second, identifying TD skill gaps and ways to close them. Third, providing a professional development roadmap for TD leaders and practitioners. TD means talent development. Here in figure 1.5 shows the ATD competency model. Now that leads us to the last two questions for this lesson. First question is, who provides training? The answer is trainers, in-house consultants, employee experts, managers, and outsourcing. Well, outsourcing. The training and the company development activities are provided by individuals outside. Training and development can also be outsourced. Training providers outside the company include colleges and universities, community and junior colleges, technical and vocational institutions, product suppliers, consultant and consulting firms, unions, trade and professional organizations, and government organizations. The last question is, who is in charge of training? Human resource development. The integrated use of training and development, organizational development, and career development to improve individual, group, and organizational effectiveness. Human resource development professionals might be involved in job and task analysis, instructional system design, on-the-job training, and individual performance improvement. Next is organizational development professionals. Organization development professionals might focus on training as well as team building, conflict avoidance, employee development, and change management. Next is talent management professionals. Talent management professionals might focus on identifying the top talent in the company and ensuring that they get the training and development needed to promote them or prepare them for new positions. Next is learning professionals. Learning professionals might focus on formal training and development training, as well as ensuring that informal learning and knowledge sharing occurs through use of social networking tools. Well, that ends my report for lesson 1, and thank you for listening. Next reporter.
Good day, everyone. I am Narvaja from Group 1, and I will present the subtopics from Lesson 1. So the first subtopic that I will tackle about is the strategic training. Business strategy. What is business strategy? It is a plan that integrates the company's goals, policies, and actions. The strategy influences how the company uses physical capital, financial capital, and human capital. The business strategy helps direct the company's activities to reach specific goals. The goals are what companies hope to achieve in a medium and long-term future. Most companies' goals include financial goals, such as to maximize shareholder wealth. But companies have other goals related to employee satisfaction, industry position, and community service. The business strategy serves as the vision and the course of action for the whole organization. It is important that everyone in corporation has specific priorities and follows the organization's path or task. A plan, which is the business strategy, can provide this vision and keep individual focused on the goals of the business. Business strategy has a major impact on the type and amount of training that occurs and whether resources should be devoted to training. Also, strategy influences the type, level, and mix of skills needed in a company. So as the business come up with a plan, the resources reserved with the training is dependable on the business strategy. Company strategies should be differ based on what is needed to be done and the training needs to achieve. Strategy has a particularly strong influence on determining the following. Number 1, the amount of training devoted to current or future job skills. Number 2, the extent to which training is customized for the particular needs of an employee or is developed based on the needs of a team, unit, or division. Number 3 is whether training is restricted to specific groups of employees, such as person identified as having managerial talent or open to all employees. Number 4, whether training is planned and systematically administered, provided only when problems occur or develop spontaneously as a reaction to what competitors are doing. So the last one is the importance placed on training compared to other human resource management practices such as selection and compensation. So these parameters strongly depend on the decision making that involves in business strategy. As we tackled earlier, the business strategy includes company's actions. Thus, the business strategy will dictate how will training and development will be executed inside the organization. So as we go along, we will be discussing about learning organization. How does it help the organization? The learning organization. Many companies recognizing the strategic importance of learning have strived to become learning organizations. As discussed in Lesson 1, a learning organization is a company that has an enhanced capacity to learn, adapt, and change. Training processes are carefully scrutinized and aligned with company's goals. In a learning organization, training is seen as one part of a system designed to create human capital. It is evident that the workforce or employees are the paramount of all the resources of the company. So many organizations, as the sentence said, strive to become learning organizations. We as an individual, our life continuously undergo the learning cycle. I personally believe that human, even the oldest ones, doesn't stop learning. Same goes what the slide is saying. The company aims to be an effective learning environment for the beneficial of the organization. The essential features of a learning organization appear in Table 2.1. Note that learning organization emphasizes that learning occurs not only at the individual employee level as we traditionally think of learning, but also at the group and organizational levels. The learning organization emphasizes knowledge management. So the table 2.1 shows the key features of a learning organization. It is divided into three: supportive learning environment, learning processes and practices, and managers reinforce learning. So the first in supportive learning environment is employees feel safe expressing their thoughts about work, asking questions, disagreeing with managers, and admitting mistakes. To be supportive learning environment, the company should be trusted by the employees. In this way, the engagement between the employees and their superiors will result in positive behavior. Next one is different functional and cultural perspectives are appreciated. As we know, many employees have different ideas and diverse because of their origin in which employee are from, in which the company should be aware that employees' ideas are also viable for the company. The next one is employees are encouraged to take risks, innovate, and explore the untested and unknown, such as trying new processes and developing new products and services. From what I have said, employees' ideas and knowledge should be welcomed inside the organization. Being a supportive environment gives the chance of employees to come out from their comfort zone. The last one from the supportive learning environment is thoughtful review of the company's processes is encouraged. Companies should also welcome reviews or constructive criticisms to further improve its processes. Next one is learning processes and practices. Knowledge creation, dissemination, sharing, and application are practiced. Systems are developed for creating, capturing, and sharing knowledge. Learning processes should be organized and systematic to promote good practices in the company, including the formality inside the organization. The last one of the key features of a learning organization is the managers reinforce learning. Managers actively question and listen to employees, encouraging dialogue and debate. Managers are willing to consider alternative points of view. Time is devoted to a problem identification, learning process and practices, and post-performance audits. Learning is rewarded, promoted, and supported. Like managers, being a future HR practitioner involves rational thinking. When decision-making is needed, managers should be objective rather than being subjective or fueled by emotion. These three key features of learning organization determine how can a business considered as a legitimate learning organization. Now moving to the next one. A single training event or program is not likely to give a company a competitive advantage because explicit knowledge is well known and program designed to teach it can be easily developed and imitated. So as the passage said, one-time training event or program does not make any difference due to the fact that explicit knowledge, or what you can call as textbook knowledge, can be easily taught, thus making regimen to teach it is easily to develop also. So what does the second passage say? However, tacit knowledge developed through experience and shared through interaction between employees is impossible to imitate and can provide companies with competitive advantage. But first, what is the meaning of the tacit knowledge? According to Wikipedia, tacit knowledge or implicit knowledge, as opposed to formal codified or explicit knowledge, is knowledge that is difficult to express or extract, and thus more difficult to transfer to others by means of writing it down or verbalizing it. This can include personal wisdom, experience, insight, and intuition. Now that we have known the meaning of tacit knowledge, we can imply that the reason why many organizations prefer experienced employees. We can infer that the wisdom of a person is her tacit knowledge, and the knowledge itself is what we can call as the explicit knowledge. Resulting this to the dedication of many organizations to build specific training programs to develop the tacit knowledge. Implication of learning human capital development. Number 1. There is a recognition that to be effective, learning has to be related to helping employee performance improve and the company achieve its business goals. Number 2. Unpredictability in the business environment in which companies operate will continue to be the norm. Human behavior is broad and unpredictable, so in the actual environment of the firm, uncertain things can become the norm. Number 3 is because tacit knowledge is difficult to acquire in training programs, companies need to support informal learning that occurs through mentoring, social networks, and job experiences. This is what we are discussing about earlier. Organizations are invested in preparing special training regimens to acquire tacit knowledge. The last one is learning has to be supported not only with physical and technical resources but also psychological. As a manager, we do not see the employees as an object. Our perspective should be that the driving force of an individual is came from the mind. As companies recognize the value of training and development and view them as a part of a broader learning strategy, 7 key capabilities are needed. These capabilities are: number 1, alignment of learning goals to business goals. Ensure that learning and development strategy is aligned with an overall business strategy, because organizations' learning and development needs are different to every company. Number 2, measurement of the overall business impact of the learning function. The company needs to measure if the learning will be effective to the business. Next one is movement of learning outside the company to include customers, vendors, and suppliers. Choose if the learning and development plan will be delivered internally or with the assistance of an external agency. In-house management training courses have the benefit of centralizing organizational training, building unity, and accelerating implementation and work transition. Larger companies are usually the only ones that have this choice. Number 4, a focus on developing competencies for the most critical jobs. High-skilled job requires solid credibility and competency. Number 5, integration of learning with other human resource functions such as knowledge management, performance support, and talent management. So as the company train and develop employees, company needs to integrate the learning strategy to other human resource functions. Number 6, deliver approaches that include classroom training as well as e-learning. The learning and development requirements of a company change over time. This is why a company must match the learning and development plan goals with the future training and development plans while still considering progress steps. It needs to be adaptable to change and open to quality improvement. The last key capability is design and delivery of leadership development courses. Within the learning and growth plan, think about the best organizational learning resources and techniques. Leadership exercises, leadership coaching, directed case study research, flexibly balanced distance and campus learning, and real-world learning in global business hotspots are some of today's best resources for integrative corporate learning. The next subtopic will be the strategic training and development process. Business strategy formulation and identification. 5 major components are part of developing a new business strategy or changing an existing one. The first component is the company mission, which is a statement of the company's reason for existing. Company missions vary, but they typically include information on the customer served, why the company exists, what the company does, the value received by the customers, and the technology used. The mission statement is often accompanied by a statement of a company's vision or values. The vision is the picture of the future the company wants to achieve, while values are what company stands for. The second component is company's goals, which are what the company hopes to achieve in the medium to long term. They reflect how the mission will be carried out. Overall, vision and mission statements give organizations a sense of unity of intent and give workers a sense of belonging and identification. Indeed, corporate identity is embodied in vision and mission statements, which bear the organization's creed and slogan. Individuals may use the vision and mission statements to align themselves with organizational process and gain a purpose, whereas others who do not want to pursue them are discouraged from engaging the organization's activities. Finally, vision and mission statements provide workers with a philosophy of life, which is important because as individuals, we require meaning from our work, and vision and mission statements provide the meaning for working in specific organization. Table 2.2, possible business goals influenced by training. Productivity, reduce scrap and rework, increase customer satisfaction, reduce operational risk and accidents due to employee carelessness, increase employee satisfaction and retention, increase time and value producing goods such as increase in billable project time hours, better management decision, increase development of human capital, succession planning needed for competitive advantage and growth. Both for-profit and not-for-profit companies often include goals related to satisfying stakeholders, The term stakeholders refers to shareholders. If the company is publicly traded or for profit, the communities, customers, employees, and all other parties that have an interest in seeing the company succeeds. The third and fourth components, external and internal analysis, are combined to form what is called SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis consists of an internal analysis of the strengths and weaknesses and an external analysis of opportunities and threats to the company that currently exist or are anticipated. External analysis involves examining the operating environment to identify opportunities and threats. Internal analysis attempts to identify the company's strengths and weaknesses. It focuses on examining the available quantity and quality of financial, physical, and human capital. The last component is strategic choice. The strategic choice represents the strategy believed to be the best alternative to achieve the company's goals. SWOT analysis is the most renowned tool for audit and analysis of the overall strategic position of the business and its environment. Its key purpose is to identify the strategies that will create a firm's specific business model that will best align an organization's resources and capabilities to requirements of the environment which the firms operate. As we can see in Preview 2.2, this is how we formulate a business strategy. Strategy formulation refers to the process of choosing the most appropriate course of action for the realization of organizational goals and objectives and thereby achieving the organizational vision. The process of strategy formulation have 5 components. Though these steps do not follow a rigid chronological order, however, they are very rational and can be easily followed in by the guide of this illustration. And the last part of my presentation is, after the company formulate the business strategy, companies need to decide how will they compete. As you can see in table 2.3, these are fundamental questions how the company will compete. The decisions that the company has to make regarding how to compete are shown in table 2. Table 2.3 decisions a company must make about how to compete to reach its goals. Where to compete, in what markets will we compete, industries, products, etc. How to compete, on what outcome or differentiating characteristics will we compete, cost, quality, is it reliability, delivery, or innovativeness. With what will we compete? What resources will allow us to beat competition? How will we acquire, develop, and deploy those resources to compete? So thank you everybody for listening in my presentation about the subtopics in this. Again, this is Javier Narvaja of Group 1 signing out.
Good day everyone, this is Magsipoc from Group 1 and I will be reporting identifying strategic training and development initiatives that supports the strategy. First, strategic training and development initiatives are learning-related actions that a company should take to help it achieve its business strategy. Business strategy is an outline of actions and decisions that the company plans to take in order to achieve its business goals and objectives. These initiatives vary by each company, and it depends on the company's industry, goals, resources, and their capabilities. It also provides the company a roadmap to guide specific training and development activities. These show how the training function will help the company reach its goals, and in doing so, show how the training function will add value for the company. This is an example of strategic training and development initiatives and their implications. Some of the example is diversify the learning portfolio, expand the restraint, improve customer service, capture and share knowledge, and ensure that the work environment supports learning and transfer of training, and more. Let me further explain them. First, diversify the learning portfolio. More learning opportunities than just traditional programs such as informal learning that occurs on the job through interactions with peers or coworkers, new job experiences, personalized learning opportunities using mentors, coaches, and feedback that is customized to the employee's needs. And lastly, use of technology that includes web-based training. Next, expand the restraint. This refers to the recognition of the company that because employees are often the customer's primary point of contact or they have the more direct interaction with them, the employees needs as much, if not more, training than the managers do. The implication for this is train customers, suppliers, and employees and offer more learning opportunities to non-managerial employees. Next, accelerating the pace of employee learning. Training needs to be identified quickly and effective training needs to be provided. It is needed in the company that the company's employees have the capabilities to deal with changes in technology, customer needs, and the global market. The implication for this is quickly identify the needs and provide a high-quality learning solution, reduce the time to develop training programs, facilitate access to learning resources on a needed basis. Next, improve customer service. Nowadays, customer can access information about the product and services they want on the internet. Therefore, employees have to be more prepared and knowledgeable about the product or services they are providing. They need to have customer service skills, and they need to understand the types of decisions they can make. For example, can they offer a coupon for this product? The implication for this is ensure that the employee have product and service knowledge, the employees have skills needed to interact with customers, and ensure the employees understand their roles and their decision-making authority. Next, providing development opportunities. It is vital for the company to provide development opportunities and to communicate this with the employees in order for them to grow and learn new skills. These opportunities are important for attracting and retaining talented employees to the company. The implication for this is ensure that employees have opportunities developed, ensures that employees understand career opportunities and personal growth opportunities, and ensure that training and development addresses employees' needs in their current job as well as growth opportunities. Next, capturing and sharing knowledge. Companies must ensure that the important knowledge about customers, product, or processes is not lost if employees leave the company. Also, giving employees access to this knowledge that the other employees did may quicken their response times to customers and improve product and service quality. The implication for this is capture insight and information from knowledgeable employees, organize and store information logically, and provide methods to make this information available to the employees. For example, through resources guides and websites. Next, aligning training and development with the company's strategic direction. Companies need to identify what employee capabilities are needed and whether training programs and services are helping to improve these capabilities as well contributing to the business needs. The implication for this is identify the needed knowledge, skills, abilities, or competencies that the company is seeking for, and ensure that the current training and development programs support the company's strategic needs. Next, supportive work environment. It is necessary for employees to be motivated to participate in training and learning activities and use what they learn on the job and share their knowledge with the others. Psychological support from managers and peers for training and learning is also important. The implication for this is remove constraints to learning such as lack of time, resources, and equipment, dedicate physical space to encourage teamwork, collaboration, creativity, and knowledge sharing, ensure that the employees understand the importance of learning, and lastly, ensure that the managers and peers are supportive of training, development, and learning. Next, these are the questions to ask to develop strategic training and development initiatives. First is, what is the vision and mission of the company, and identifying the strategic drivers of the business strategy. Second, what capabilities does the company need as a result of the business strategy and business environment challenges? Third, what types of training and development will best attract, retain, and develop the talent needed for success of the company? Fourth, which competencies are critical for the company's success and the business strategy? Fifth, what does the company have a plan for making the link between training and development and the business strategy understood by executives, managers, and employees or customers? 6. Will the senior management team publicly support and champion training and development? And lastly, does the company provide opportunities for training and developing not only to individuals but also teams? Next, Now, to provide the training and development activities linked to strategic training and development initiatives. First is identify the specific training and development activities which will enable these initiatives to be achieved. These activities includes first is developing initiatives that is related to the new technology in training, increasing access to training programs for certain groups of employees, reducing development time, and developing new or expanded course that is offered. How does the company determine that these strategic training and development initiatives are actually contributing to the business strategy and goals? Now, in order to determine that, we need to identify and collect metrics. Metrics is a business level outcomes that is chosen to measure the overall value of training or learning initiatives. Example of these metrics includes measure of employee retention, employee engagement, customer service, productivity, and quality. Now, typically training program evaluations involves measuring trainee satisfaction with the program, assessing improvements in trainee knowledge, skills, and abilities, or identifying if the program influenced business results such as productivity. Note, it is important to recognize the difference between training program outcomes and business metrics. Training program outcomes is merely the results of the training program, while business metrics are the results that is directly contributing to the business strategy and goals. Now, balance scorecard. Some companies use balance scorecard in order to evaluate all aspects of the business. Balance scorecard is a means of performance measurement that provides managers with a chance to look at the overall company performance or the performance of department or function, such as training, from the perspective of internal and external, customers, employees, and shareholders. Here are the four perspectives of balance scorecard. In financial perspective, it focuses on creating sustainable growth in shareholders' value. Next is the customer's perspective. It defines value for customers. Next is the internal or operation perspective. It focuses on processes that influence customer satisfaction. Lastly, learning and growth perspective. It focuses on the company's capacity to innovate and continuously improve. To understand it better, here's an example. This is a strategic map for an e-commerce business. In the columns, you can see the objectives, goals, indicators, and initiatives of the company. And for the rows, you can see the balance scorecard perspectives, which is the financial perspective, customer perspective, internal processes perspective, and learning and growth perspective. Let's look at the customer perspective. For the company's objective and goals, for the goals is to be a reference for a variety of products, and for the goals is increasing in launching new products every quarter by 15%, and the indicator for that objective and goals is the number of new products launched per quarter. Now, for that initiative is create an innovation and development committee. You can see here how the initiatives connect to the objective and goals and the indicator. You can see here now how the companies uses balance scorecard to evaluate all aspects of the business. Each of these perspectives are used to translate the business strategy into organizational, managerial, and employee objectives. That's all from me. Thank you, everyone.
Good day to all. I am Angelica Zolina, the fifth reporter of Group 1, and I will be reporting the first half of the topic, Organizational Characteristics that Influences Training. First, why is training important in an organization? Training is important in an organization as this is the process that enhances the skills, capabilities, and knowledge of an employee. This also increases a person's motivation to do well as he is being oriented or aware of the things that he needs to do or the things that becomes his responsibility the moment he steps inside of the company. Obtaining and enhancing a person or an employee's skill will surely enhance his or her productivity. Training is also the way for an employee to know better the organization he is into and how this works. Next, what are the roles of employees and managers in an organization? The managers are the ones who lead, organize, divide, distributes, and divides the task that is needed, passed down by the top management, while the employees are the ones who receive and do these tasks. The roles of both the managers and employees influence the focus of training, development, and learning activity. Here are some research suggestions that today's managers are expected to do. 1. Manage individual and team performance. 2. Develop employees and encourage continuous learning. 3. Plan and allocate resources. 4. Coordinate activities and independent teams. 5. Manage group performance. 6. Facilitating decision-making process. 7. Creating and maintaining trust. And 8. Represent one's work unit. In manage individual and team performance, managers are expected to motivate their employees and give feedbacks to their works. This is to ensure that what they do is aligned to the company's goals. Next, develop employees and encourage continuous learning. Managers are expected to explain the works very clearly to their employees. This is to make sure that they understand the work that they are doing. 3. Develop employees and encourage continuous learning. These are the making of the strategic plans and the distribution and division of it into separate works. 4. Plan and allocate resources. This is the encouragement of other units to give or provide the resources that is needed in a project. It also makes sure that a work team is meeting the customer's needs. Manage group performance. Managers from different departments meet and discuss the things that is needed to be done by each department. 6. Facilitating decision-making process. Here, managers may gather their employees to a meeting to brainstorm and ask for suggestions or better ideas for a project or to solve a problem. 7. Creating and maintaining trust. Ensuring that the manager's role is to ensure that one is accountable for the things that he has worked for or the things that he has done, making sure that everyone in the group treats each other with respect and listens to them very openly. And last but not the least, represent one's work unit. Managers are the ones who represent their team, so they should always develop relationships with other managers to communicate and fulfill his or her teammates the information needed to be done. Moving on to top management support. The CEO, the top manager in the company, plays a key role in the importance of training and learning in the company. Here are some of the things that the CEO is responsible for. 1. Setting a clear direction for learning vision. This is how the CEO or the top management in the company views the company, how the company is going to be in the future. Second, encouragement, resources, and commitment for strategic learning sponsor. Here, the CEO or the top management finds the resources that can be used for their ongoing or upcoming projects. 3. Taking an active role in governing learning, including reviewing goals and objectives and providing insight on how to measure training effectiveness. Governor. Here, the CEO or the top management supervise the overall status of the organization. 4. Developing new programs for the company. Subject matter expert. Here, the top management develops new programs for the employees and managers of the whole company or organization. 5. Teaching programs or providing resources faculty. Here, the teaching of the developed programs in the subject matter expert are being done or is happening. The company provides the employees the resources that they might need. 6. Serving as a role model for learning for the entire company and demonstrating a willingness to learn constantly. As the CEO or the top management are the highest position in the company or in an organization, they are always expected to serve as the role model or inspiration for the employees so that they will be motivated to learn and work. Lastly, promoting the company's commitment to learning by advocating it in speeches, annual reports, interviews, and other public relations tools, marketing agent. The promotion of the company's commitment. This is the promotion of the company's commitment through means that can reach the public. It is done by the CEO or the top management in the company. Next, integration of business units. Integration of business units affects the training that employees have been into, as other highly integrated businesses have more things needed to be learned, like the other units, services, and the products of the company. This results to trainings that likely includes rotating employees between jobs in different businesses so they can gain an understanding of the whole business. Like what I have said earlier, the degree to which a company units or businesses are integrated affects the kind of training that takes place. Next is global presence. Global presence is the existence or recognition of a company or an organization outside the country or internationally. This is for companies with global operations that gives training to their employees to prepare for future overseas assignments. The key challenge to their training is to ensure that learning is effective for all employees regardless of the language they speak or their cultural background. Business conditions. Business conditions are the factors that affects the employee retentions. These are the variables, factors, or current situations that affects organization's ability to attract, find, hire, or even retain employees. For an example, when unemployment is low or businesses are growing at a high rate and need more employees, companies often find it difficult to attract new employees, find ones that has necessary skills, and retain current employees, resulting for companies to find themselves in a situation where they hire employees who might not be qualified for the job. Another example is that in a knowledge-based economy, product development depends on the employee's specialized skills. So, losing a key employee may cause a project to be delayed or hinder a company's taking on new projects. Here are some other HRM practices. Human Resource Management (HRM) practices consist of the management activities related to investments, time, effort, and money in staffing, determining how many employees are needed, and recruiting and selecting employees, performance management, training, and compensation benefits. Staffing strategy refers to the company's decisions regarding to where to find these employees, how to select them, and the desired mix of employee skills and statuses, whether it is temporary, full-time, or etc. There are two aspects of a company's staffing: the assignment flow and the supply flow. The assignment flow is the criteria used to make promotion and assignment decisions, and the supply flow is the places where the company prefers to obtain the human resources to fill open positions. As you can see in the figure, implications of staffing strategy for training, external labor market are the fortress and baseball team, while club and academy are considered as internal labor market. Assignment flow comes from the group contribution and individual contribution. Group contributions are in fortress and club, and individual contribution are in the baseball team and academy. Strategic value of jobs and employee uniqueness. Another strategic consideration affecting how companies invest in its training and development resources is based on the different types of employees. One distinction that some companies make is in the training and development activities for managers and individual contributors. Some development opportunities as job experiences may experience by the managers but not the employees, as they have different positions and contributions in the company. Uniqueness is also a factor, as this refers to the extent of which the employees are rare and specialized and not highly available in the labor market. Strategic value refers to the employee potential to improve company effectiveness and efficiency. There are four types of employees: the knowledge-based workers, job-based employees, contract employees, and alliance partnerships, wherein job-based workers are considered as high value and unique, while job-based employees are also considered high value but is low unique. Contract values is both low value and low unique, and alliance is high unique and low value. Next is human resource planning. This allows the company to anticipate the movement of human resources in the company because of turnover, transfers, or retirements and promotions. It also includes the identification, analysis, forecasting, and planning of changes needed in the human resource area to help the company meet the business conditions. It can also help identify where employees with certain skills or are needed in the company. Extent of unionization. Unions' interest in training has resulted in joint union management programs designed to help employees prepare for new jobs. Joint union management programs make sure that all parties, unions, management employees, understand the development goals and are committed to making the changes necessary for the company to make profit for both the employees and jobs. Staff involvement in training and development. This is how often and how well a company's training program is used are affected by the degree to which managers, employees, and specialized development staff are involved in the process. For an example, if managers are not involved in the training process, training may be unrelated to the business needs. Managers are also may not be committed to ensure that the training done is effective. As a result, the training's potential impact on helping the company reach its goals may be limited because the managers may feel that training is a necessary evil forced on them by the training department rather than the means of helping them to accomplish the business goal. In today's time, most companies expect employees to initiate the training process. It is a given that they will support the training and development activities but will let and give the employees the responsibility for planning their own development. This involves identifying the needs, choosing the expected outcome, knowing the actions that should be done, measuring their goal, and creating timetable for improvement. Lastly, an employee must know his strengths and weaknesses in order to analyze what they want and could do, how others think, and how others think and expect of them. That concludes my report. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. I'm Lanz Cabidoy from Group 1. So let me just continue the said topics here in Lesson 1. So let's proceed to training needs in different strategies. So there are 4 different strategies in the said training. So these are the 4 business strategies. And we all know how strategies can be formed, and it is something very fundamental to a company's success. So in training, can have this first, the concentration strategy. So from the word itself, the word concentrate means to concentrate and focus to a certain thing. And as its definition says, it focuses on increasing market share, reducing costs, or creating and maintaining a market niche for a product and services. So in an industry, it's very vital to compete with other markets and with other competitors if you're busy with having too much in hand. So this kind of strategy really concentrates on specific things, specific outlines of strategy that really focuses on specific thing. And as the line goes, jack of all trades but master of none. And it is very somehow related in the business industry. So concentration strategy simply concentrates on specific things, while internal growth strategy, this strategy focuses on new market, product development, innovation, and ventures. From the word itself also, it simply means internal growth within the organization itself. It's inside, and all the happenings happens inside, and this merely says that focuses on internal things, like for example, focuses on things happening inside the organization, and really depends on happens inside, or the happenings inside more than the outside. And the inside growth means so much wealth, because if the inside does not well take care, and then the business might fall into some loops. And internal growth strategy really focuses inside the company, inside the organization, what happens around inside the company itself. And the second thing is the external growth strategy. This kind of strategy uh, emphasizes acquiring vendors and suppliers of buying businesses that allows the company to expand to new markets, and really relies on people outside the company, and it doesn't rely on employers inside but outside the market. And this strategy uh, affects the company, because what is inside affects, but what is also outside says a lot. And the fourth strategy is the disinvestment strategy. This emphasizes acquiring vendors and suppliers, or buying businesses that allows the company to expand in the markets. So this investment strategy, um, this means the company or the organization will retrench some of its business units in order for it to continuously survive in the industry. So some of it the business might sell its business entity on this side in order for them to regain this one. So that's it. Next, here are the implications of the business strategy for training. The first strategy, which is the concentration on what I said earlier. So the emphasis of this, I'll just read it. Increase market share, reduce operating costs, market niche created or maintained. So how achieve? Improve product quality, improve productivity, or innovate technical processes, customize products or services. But here are some key issues. Sales currency, development of existing workforce. So last, training implications. So team building, cross training, specialist program, interpersonal skill training, and on-the-job training. Internal growth. Emphasis of it is on market development, product development, innovation, joint ventures, mergers, This is very critical, globalization, because anything inside the business and even a non-business thing includes globalization. So how achieve? Market existing products, and there's an addition of distribution channels. So expand global market, modify existing products, create new or different products, expand through joint ownership, and identify and develop managers. Some key issues here are creation of new jobs and tasks, innovation, talent management. Okay, training implication. High quality communication of product value, culture and training, development organizational culture that values creative thinking and analysis, technical competence in jobs, manager training and feedback and communication, conflict. Then let's go to the external growth strategy. This strategy emphasizes horizontal integration, vertical integration, concentric diversification, and how achieve. Acquire firms operating at same stage in product market chain, acquire business that can supply or buy products, acquire firms that have nothing in common with acquiring firm. Some key issues here: integration, redundancy, or structuring, and training implications, determination of capabilities of employees in acquired firms, integration of training systems, methods and procedures of combined firms, team building, development of shared culture. And lastly, the disinvestment strategy. Emphasis of this is retrenchment, turnaround, divestiture, liquidation. How achieve? Reduce costs, reduce assets, generate revenue, or define goals, sell off all assets. So just a takeaway here, like what I said earlier, with disinvestment, it really reduces the cost, because you sell something in order for it to survive or give or to feed a certain thing in order for it to live, in order for it to sustain its life. So the key issues here is efficiency. Training implications, motivation, goal setting, time management, stress management, cross-training, leadership training, interpersonal communications, outplacement assistance, job search, skills training. Next, models of organizing the training department. So here we can see centralized training means that training and development programs, resources, and professionals are primarily housed in one location, that decisions about training, investment, programs, and delivery methods are made from that department. So from the word itself, it means centralized. All the resources, all the idea, all the thoughts, all the programs comes from one center. That means centralized. Or in a business, it comes from a specific department that disseminates program resources and every other little things that's needed inside the business to all of its people. So the advantage of centralized training, it helps drive stronger alignment with business strategy, allows development of a common set of metrics or scorecards to measure and report its quality and delivery, helps to streamline processes. Lastly, it gives the company a cost of advantage in purchasing training from vendors and consultants. So yeah, the advantage of this centralized training really drives stronger alignment with business strategy, because when things are centralized in a company, it really comes from one mind or one idea or one thought. And the people around it collects the same idea or same thought, because it comes from one center. It comes from a specific point of view. Then it really allows the development of a common set of metrics or scorecards. And streamline processes, it really helps because, like what I said, it comes from a specific center, specific POV, wherein the people will just flow and the idea will just flow, and so does go on. So next. So here we can see the corporate university. So this is a trend. This is a trend in the industry, in the work field, because many corporations use this kind of model, the corporate university model, because this includes employees, managers, stakeholders outside the company, including community colleges, universities, high school, and grade school. This simply provides significant advantages for a company's learning efforts, because this helps to overcome many of the historical problems that have clogged their training departments. And by doing this, some educational institutions really help the corporation, because it really replenishes the idea, the minds of the workers inside the workplace. And it is a hand-to-hand process wherein the corporate wins because they get something from the university or from this community, colleges, universities, high school, and grade schoolers. And so does the university, for this set of students or set of youngsters to learn from the corporate world or corporate idea or corporate minds. So this both work hand in hand. So you can see here the corporate university model. And some of its training advantages is its dissemination of best practices, align training with business trends, business needs, integrate training initiatives, effectively utilize new training methods and technology, adapt common standards, clear vision and mission, effectively use the technology to support learning, evaluation of learning impacts on employees and business results, partnership with academia, identify and use best training practices. So here are the things in order for us to create a corporate university. So, and you can read it out loud. Number 1, senior managers and business managers from a governing body with the responsibility of developing a vision for the university. Number 2, this vision is fleshed out, and the vision statement is linked to the business strategy. The company decides how to fund the university. The company determines the degree to which all training will be centralized. It is important to identify the needs of the university customers, including employees, managers, suppliers, external customers. Number 6, products and services are developed. Company chooses learning partners, including suppliers, consultant colleges, and companies specializing in education. The company develops a strategy for using technology to train more employees to do more frequently and more cost effectively than instructor-led training. Lastly, learning that occurs as a result of a corporate university is linked to performance improvement. So here, like what I said earlier, this goes hand in hand. When the corporate or the corporation learns from their university or from this specific community, which is the what they call this young students or young learners that will soon be corporate workers. Um, as the corporation adopts to the new trends that is brought by the university, so does the university learn to adapt from what this adult mindset has or the corporation has in a corporate world or in the real world, when sooner or later they will be having also. So these are the guidelines in order to create, but the idea here, the thought here is this kind of model to integrate morally, efficiently, in an efficient manner, in an effective way, and with a clear path towards the corporation. So just simply endless things that must be needed, or the things that are needed. These are simply the protocols in creating a corporate university. So let's talk about BE, or Business Embedded Learning Function. These are characterized by 5 competencies: strategic direction, product design, structural versatility, product delivery, and accountability for results. So these are the features of a BE learning function. The first is the strategic direction. This broadly disseminates a clearly articulated mission and recognizes that its customer base is segmented, provides customized solutions to its client needs, understands product life cycles, organizes its offerings by competencies, competes for internal customers. Product design uses benchmarking and other innovative design, implements strategies to develop products quickly, involves suppliers strategically. So here in product design, when we say benchmarking, there is a set of standards in all of things, even in phones, even in laptops, even in all kinds of situation. Benchmarking is a keyword to determine how far can a specific standard go and how low can it be from the standard. So in a product design, when we design something, when we design a product, it has a benchmark. It is a way for us to check if it meets the needs and efficiency towards the customers by having that product. So it really implements strategies to develop products quickly, because product design also rechecks and recollects the idea on how to effectively disseminate this product to the market, to the people, to the customers, because like what all customers need, they need what they need, and in the end, as long as time passes, they doesn't just need something inserted. They need in a developed way wherein they use it efficiently. Nowadays, technology are really rapidly growing to the market. So product design is a key factor, and it is really important to be involved in this kind of thing. So structural versatility employs professionals who serve as product and customer instructors, managers, and internal consultants. Uses resources from many areas, involves line managers in determining the direction of departments, offerings, and content. Product delivery offers a menu of learning options, delivers training at the work site. Accountability for results believes that individual employees must take responsibility for their personal growth, provides follow-up to the job to ensure that learning takes place, considers the manager the key player in supporting learning, evaluates the strategic effect of training and its bottom line results, guarantees that training will improve its performance. So here are the things, the features of a BE learning function. So here in our next slide, these are the 4 conditions that are necessary for change to occur. And the first one, employees must understand the reasons for change and agree with those reasons. So first things first, change is something that we have in mind when we say change. Our nature asks ourselves, why do we need change? And the corporate world, we ask also, what is the necessity of this change? And as a human, as an individual, we do ask ourselves sometimes, because sometimes when we have these common patterns in our brain, then wake up another day, ask ourselves, and we are shocked because of change, and ask ourselves, why is the need for change? And if we can't cope up with that understanding and with that change, then so all the other things that we will do will be affected. And so does with this, that employees must really understand the reason for change and agree with those things. Because if us as an employee can adopt that change and can understand and do not agree with those changes, then everything will be a halo effect. Everything will be affected by a simple individual inside the company or organization. So the second is, employees must have the skills needed to implement the change. And this is very critical because employees must have the skills, because not all people are gifted with all the talents. Sometimes this specific person has this kind of skill sets and talents, while the other one has this, but on the other hand is weak on this part. So we must collectively seek for people who are skillful enough that's needed to implement this kind of changes. So number 3, employees must see that managers and other employees in powerful positions support change. There is power in being powerful, and this kind of people, these people in authority, must support the change in order for those people in line with him or at the back of him follow and oblige with that pattern of change. So number 4, organizational structures such as compensation and performance management systems must support the change. Simply because we do know this halo effect, and when a thing gets distracted by itself, when a system of things, when one of those in the system was destroyed, then everything will fall apart. Everything will just fall back, and it will not continue its process. And so does with this number 4. So next, here's a figure, a change model rather. So the process of change is based on the interaction among 4 components of the organization. So here are the 4 components of the organization. First, the task, and the second is the employees. The third, formal organizational arrangements, such as structures, processes, and systems. 4, informal organization, communication patterns, values, and norms. So that's 4 change-related problems that need to be addressed before implementation of new training practice are resistance to change, or loss of control, power imbalance, and task definition. So we can see here a change of model, this figure. You can see there square, rectangle. To be specific, those are the components of the organization. Then the one that's beside that rectangle is the change related problems. So let's explain everything. Resistance to change. This refers to managers' employees' unwillingness to change. And resistance to change means a problem because when there's someone who resists with this change, then it can't be implemented and the objective of this change will not succeed. So this is a change in problem. So second's power refers to the ability to influence others. So if there's an imbalance of power or there's no ability to influence others, then might as well do things on your own or rather not. Because when you do things in a company, in an organization, or even things that must be done as a group, then the people around you, the people involved, are not influenced by you, or you don't have the control to them, then you will lack things. You will lack the substance to reach that certain goal because a team must work as a team. Because a team is a team, and without all of its members or even just one participating it, then it would be destroyed. The objective of the team or the things that must be achieved will not be achieved. So next is the control. This relates to change to managers and employees' ability to obtain and distribute valuable resources such as data, information, or money. Task redefinition. Web-based training methods such as task redefinition create changes in managers' and employees' roles and job responsibilities. So, in task redefinition, we can see here that it states for itself. Tasks are redefined, and when tasks are redefined, people gets confused because when things are changed or when tasks are changed, our mind shifts to another direction from the other direction, and this might lead to confuse and might lead to inefficiency to work or to specific jobs or roles, and this might cause the company to not succeed. And this is the fourth problem in change. So next, marketing training and creating a brand. So when we say brand, it usually refers to its title or its name, and branding is very a key factor in successful internal marketing tactics because when you brand things, you give a name and integrity to its name associated with it, and people will recognize its name. When people recognize its name, then it will recognize its goals and its vision towards the people, towards the customers around it. So these are the successful internal marketing tactics. Involve the target audience in developing the training or learning effort. Yes, because the target audience will be the audience in the end, and they will define how well the marketing happened. And second, demonstrate how the training and development program can be used to solve specific business needs. Third, showcase an example of how training has been used within company to solve specific business needs. And this one is really important because people needs to see how effective it was before and how effective it was with most of the people. And if it does, then people will naturally follow and recommend this said training. So fourth, identify a champion who actively supports training while picking the right people in the right place and putting them in order for them to efficiently work and for them to efficiently handle its people, because like what we said earlier, skills, they must have the right skill sets in order for them to lead certain groups, certain people. And most common traits must be a person must be sociable, or They must be easily to connect with the people, easily to communicate with the people, and if listen and act on feedback received from clients, managers, and employees. Feedback says a lot, and it can be a determining factor whether the training is leading to success or not. And feedback doesn't necessarily means failure, because feedback uh, are needed in order for a thing to continuously grow and develop, because that feedback doesn't necessarily mean negativity. Sometimes it means positivity, but non-ending development. So next, advertise on email, on company websites, and employee break areas. Designate someone in the training function as an account representative who will interact between the training designer or team and the business unit, which is the customer. So next, it's determine what financial numbers such as return on assets, cash flows from operations, or net profit or loss top-level executives are concerned with, and show how training and development will help improve those numbers. Speak in terms of that employees and managers understand. Don't use jargon. And communicating is a key. And employees and managers must understand, because communicating and delivering the right word, delivering the right term, and making them understand through these right words means a lot, because it might lead to confusion, might lead to misunderstanding if not handled properly. And next, win a local or national training industry award or recognition. Yes, this means a lot. Credential means a lot, and credibility of a thing means a lot. In order for people to believe in it, in order for people to be motivated to do their work, to do this training, and this will benefit the whole organization in the long run. Next, publicize learner or manager success stories, or feature those who have earned certification or degrees using newsletter or websites. These newsletter and websites are now prominently seen by many people, if not most people, because newsletter is delivered to many, and so does websites nowadays. And by publicizing this kind of things, this kind of success stories or features will be gained by the company in a positive way, because it will maintain the people, it will continue to increase the people excitement to do this training, and they will be motivated in every single way. So these are the steps in a change process. So let's just enumerate these things. Clarify the request for change. Make the vision clear. This thing simply explains for itself. And third, design the solution. Solution is an important thing, and designing the solution will be a key in order for you to efficiently do a thing, or just even for a thing to succeed or fail. And fourth, communicate and market for buy-in. Yeah, this thing is very essential also. This will connect with other groups that will be involved. This includes outside companies, because employees need to know what is occurring using brief, newsletters, discussion boards, websites, and informational meetings. So the fifth, choose and announce the action as soon as possible. And this states for itself, because we must be delegated in a proper way, and things must be planned out in order for us to plan it successfully. And if not, if things are being said to the people or even to the employees in a hasty way, then they will not be prepared, because preparation is a key, and it does big things in order for us to succeed, and even in life. Yeah. As long as we know what will occur in the nearest time, then we can prepare and we can do something if destruction might come, if there might be hindrances. So choose and announce the action as soon as possible, because people will plan out and they need the things that they know, the things that they should know in order for them to react and respond to that kind of situations. So number 6, execute and create short-term wins. So success requires management attention and the desire to do it right. Managers and change leaders must model new behavior and become enthusiastic supporters for the process. Leaders should involve employees and provide them with the necessary training and resources. If a pilot test or beta program is used, employees should be kept informed on its progress and ask for their opinions. Learning should occur from any mistakes. Lastly, 7, follow up, evaluate, and modify. Be flexible, make changes if there are needed, share information about mistakes and issues, and work with the employees affected to fix them. So how to build a training brand? Ask the current customers of training, including managers who purchase or ask for training and employees who participate in training, what their perceptions are of the brand. And asking is a way of clarifying things. And when we ask a thing, that doesn't mean that we do not fully understand, but sometimes we ask in order to confirm, because clarity is better than assumption. It is hard to assume things the way we think, and when we do clarify things with the other party, then so we get what we need, we understand what kind of an idea they are interpreting to us, then we can blow by and do more things and plan out things to be an effective in that specific situation. And so that's with this on how to build a training brand. You should ask the customers always, because like what they said, the customers is always right. And we need them to create a formula in order for us to create this specific thing in order to succeed, and in order for us to create a training brand. Then next, define how you want to be perceived by current and future customers. So like what I said earlier, branding is very important because this is the name of us, and the integrity in the what is known associated to its name will be renounced to the people and will be renounced to the public. And when they know that this specific thing has a good impact, then they will continuously support it without asking for them to support it. So you must think creatively on how this future and current customers will perceive our training brand. So next, identify factors that influence your customers' perception of the training function. Review each of the factors to determine if it is supporting and communicating the brand to your customers in a way that you intended. So always review, always recheck, and it must be aligned to your objectives, to your goals in this kind of training, this kind of training brand, because people might also delude you from their idea and you will be confused at times, but always review the factors to determine. So next, make changes so that each factor is supporting the brand. So like what I said, the factors must be aligned in supporting the brand, because you do not brand out things or tell out people a thing that you have if it has a negative image. So the factors must be aligned in supporting the brand, not opposing the brand. So next, get the customer's feedback at each step of this process. Knowing the customer's feedback, knowing what the customers, how the customers perceive, and this will be something in return for us. Then, lastly, when interacting with customers, create an experience that supports and identifies the brand. The brand will always keep you on top. Its name and how people identify it will lead to more views, to more what they call this, to more people embracing the company, the training brand. And when people does, you will not be needing more effort. What I mean is you will be exerting less effort on this and focusing on the other hand, while people continuously supports the brand because they have this ambience and they have this bond with you that leads them to doing this kind of things simultaneously. So outsource training. Outsourcing refers to the use of an outside company. This relies on external services firm that takes complete responsibility and control of some training and development activities, or that takes overall or most of the company's training, including administration, design, delivery, and development. So business process outsourcing refers to the outsourcing of any business processes such as HRM, production, or training. So why would companies outsource training? Because it is cost saving? Yes, because when companies outsource the training, it's very time saving and allows the company to focus on a business strategy more on this kind of training. And this improves in accuracy in training mandated to comply with federal, state, or local rules. The lack of capability within a company to meet learning demands and the desire to access best training practices. So here, these are the questions to ask when considering outsourcing. What are the capabilities of your in-house training function? Does the staff know enough that you can grow the training skills you need, or do you need to hire training skills from the outside? Second is, can your in-house training function take on additional training responsibilities? Third is, training key to your company strategy? Is it proprietary? Fourth, does your company value its training organization? Fifth, does training content change rapidly? Six, are outsourced trainers viewed as experts, or are they viewed with cynicism? Seventh, do you understand the strengths, weakness of your current training programs? 8, do you want to outsource the entire training function? And 9, are executive trying to minimize the training's impact on your company? Does your company accept responsibility for building skills and talent? 10, is a combination of internal and external training the best solution? So that's all, and thank you for listening.